How can you make sure that the underwater camera system that you're about to buy is the absolute right choice for you? Let's have a look at this in today's video, and I do also have some information that is going to be rather beneficial to you if you're looking at getting a new underwater camera system in the near future. Coming up. Hey there underwater filmmakers, it's great to see you back here on the channel. Now everyone who has looked into getting some underwater camera equipment has probably been at the stage where you had the choice in between a couple of different setups and you weren't really sure how to decide which one of these setups would be the best choice for you personally and for your personal needs. And honestly speaking, there is really only just one way how you can be 100% sure that the setup that you're about to buy is gonna be the perfect fit for you. And that's by actually taking it on an actual dive in the actual conditions that you will be doing most of your diving in and testing it out. So if you're a vacation diver, you wanna make sure that you can take the setup that you're looking at buying on a vacational trip and try it out for a couple of days, for a week, for 2 weeks, and just really test dive that rig underwater and see how you feel with it. See how the buoyancy characteristics are. See how all the functions, the buttons are laid out on the housing, how you can reach all these while being underwater and diving, how well you can actually see the LCD screen of your camera through the housing. All that stuff should be tested out prior to making a decision. I mean, of course, if you're in the market to just buy a smaller system, which is not a big investment in money, let's say you're looking at a compact system, or even just want to take your smartphone diving and you're looking for a housing for your smartphone, then this might be overkill to take it on a test trip and test it out beforehand. If it's only a couple $100 or maybe even just like $1,000 or $2,000 for the setup, for some of us this is like, okay, I'm just gonna get it, I'll test it out, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna sell it again. But if it's a setup that is slightly more expensive, or even if it's a setup that is around the $1,000 or $2,000 mark, but your budget is a little tighter and you really want to be sure that the investment that you're making is a well-made investment, well then I definitely recommend that you try to rent out that exact setup before, take it on a couple of test dives and see how you get along with the setup. That's gonna save you a lot of hassle if afterwards you realize that the setup is not what you were looking for whatever reason. There's many different reasons why a setup that looks very good in the first place is not the perfect fit for you. But if that happens, and if you've just rented the setup, you can then give it back and you can rent another setup and see if that works better for you, making sure that you actually pick the right setup for your personal needs. Now the problem starts here that not all of us have a camera shop, an underwater camera shop close by that they can just drop in. They can have a look at the different camera setup options. They can play around with them a little bit, and maybe they can even rent a complete setup from their shop and take it on a couple of dives and try it out. If you have that, well, that's the luxury option there, and I urge you to make use of that option. Test your equipment, or test the equipment that you're about to buy beforehand, making sure that you make the right choice and that there is no regrets after the purchase of the equipment. But for most of us, that's actually not going to be the case. For most of us, we don't really have a store close by that we can go to and we can just rent out the equipment from there. So I've actually been looking around to see whether I can come up with some sort of a collaboration, a partnership with a camera store that would make this possible for divers around the world to be able to test out equipment before they want to buy it. And luckily, I actually did find someone who is willing to do that. Now, if you guys don't know the people from Mozaik Underwater Cameras, you should definitely go and check them out. I'll put a link down to their website in the video description just below. Mozaik has been a supporter of my channel here and specifically of the online underwater videography course that has been running for about a year and a half now. They've been a very strong supporter there by giving some extra discounts on some purchases for the students of the course. And now we've taken this partnership a step further. I was talking to the guys there and just discussing ideas, and we came up with the idea of a special rental program for all my participants of my underwater videography workshops, the live workshops that I'm holding several times a year in a variety of different locations worldwide. Now, the way this program is going to work is that once you have signed up to one of the underwater videography workshops, you will then get the chance to rent out a complete underwater camera setup to take with you on that workshop. You will be able to test it out throughout the workshop, whether that's 1 or 2 weeks. You will be able to play around with it and be completely sure once you get back from that workshop whether this is the setup for you, or maybe you will also get to the conclusion, no, it is not exactly what I was expecting, but you will get clarity and you will get the chance to really test it out, while at the same time you're actually learning underwater videography, mastering those skills and improving your level and your expertise in underwater filmmaking. Obviously, this is not something that is going to be for free. You will have to pay the guys at Mozaik a small rental fee in exchange of being able to take that underwater camera system with you, but it's really a rather small fee compared to the complete retail price that you would pay for such a setup. And then the really cool thing is, once you get back home from the workshop, you can then decide whether you want to just pay the remaining balance to the guys at Mozaik and keep the whole setup to you if you were very happy with it throughout the trip. If you found out that this might not be quite the right setup for you, you can return it and you don't have to pay anything extra other than the rental fee that you've paid upfront before receiving the camera before the workshop. I'm actually really excited about this partnership with Mozaik and the program that we've developed here, and I'm really convinced that this is going to be very, very beneficial to many of you guys out there who are looking at investing into a larger underwater camera system but are not quite sure which way you should go. So thank you very much, you guys at Mozaik, for being open to introduce such a program and give my students, my participants in the underwater videography workshops such a great opportunity to test out gear at a really reasonable and fair price point. If you want to take advantage of that really cool offer, make sure to have a look at the availability of all my underwater videography workshops that are planned for this year, 23, and for 2024. You can find the availability through the link which I'll place down in the video description below. And now I would also be very curious to find out what your thoughts are about the whole testing an underwater camera system before you buy it. Is this something that you have done in the past? Is it something that you would like to do? Is it something that you think would make your life and your decision-making process easier? Yeah, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about this topic. And this brings today's video to an end. Thank you so much guys for watching and for your time. And as always, if this video was beneficial to you and you got something out of it, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, so you're not missing out on any of the great content that will be uploaded here in the future. Until next week, keep capturing your awesome underwater adventures. And if you want to know what factors are important when deciding for an underwater camera system, have a look at the video right over here. Take care guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.